create the better synergies. Before we are rolling out, I just wanted to thank one more time to the host for great hospitality yesterday. It was fabulous. Thank you. So, ladies and gentlemen, just to start the session, what we thought for this session was that we would just go through the setting, the context, then identify like 2-3 items of the potential work area, and then we would open the floor for the discussion. The first part would cover the issue of the regional initiatives, in particular regional initiatives for Europe, which is focusing on the accessibility. The second part, we will focus on the curation program, which we are trying to put up to support the startups and innovation ecosystem in their efforts of making even more great things for the community. So let's start with the first component. As we already mentioned, the regional development, the World Telecommunication Development Conference agreed to 5 regional initiatives. One of those is the initiative on the digital inclusion, in particular focusing on the accessibility. And the countries have designed the almost 10 expected results, not almost, but the 10 expected results. But I'm saying almost because not all of them are relevant to the accessibility. Some of them, they're related more to the digital skills and digital inclusion. But of course, asking for creation platform like Accessible Europe for fostering the innovation, for bringing the support to the countries in terms of the building the policy environment, enabling environment, for the accessibility at the national level, and with the expectations that all this would happen in line with the global objectives of the UN and, of course, in our case, in synergies with ongoing work at the European level with the European Commission. For the purposes of this forum, we have launched the call for the contributions. So many of you, let me ask to raise the hand if somebody doesn't know what was the written contribution to the Accessible Europe. I don't see any hands, so it's a very good sign. And let me thank to all those who responded to our call. There was a short questionnaire, short form, where we are asking the stakeholders just briefly to describe this, what they are doing, and you see that many responded, and this activity is ongoing, so it's not finished. We want to understand much better what is happening around the world, and also to put much more emphasis on the work and achievements of the different stakeholders active in this area. So in case you are I would invite you to go into the website where you will find almost 20 written contributions, where we are asking what do you do within the, what are your priorities for the coming 3-4 years, and how this is linked with those expected results designed by the regional initiatives. And we are surprised to receive really very nice set of the descriptions of this, what is happening in the region. It means that we should also be very careful with no duplication of some efforts. Of course, doing all this, our objective is to build the community working together with us on the accessibility. These are all partners working with us, contributing proactively, providing the guidance in one way or the other way. Each contribution counts because like this we know better where we stand and who is who and how we can navigate different streams of the work on the accessibility. So you see quite busy slide with several stakeholders on it, and we hope that this will be even much more busy when we will go to Lisbon next year. We'll try now to take a look how to make out of this the good map of the accessibility in Europe with different functions, focus, and objectives. So in this context, of course, already Roxana, during the first session, she was already presenting several activities which ITU is already doing. But in principle, we have a few work streams which we would like to promote at the European level, where we will be looking for the strengthening of the contributions, and where we would like to also, with the contributions of the stakeholders, to provide the value not only to the startups and innovation community, but also to build the advisory to those countries which maybe cannot benefit from the big support of the big institutions in this field, and to make the policy advisory, to build the capacities at the national level, a little bit strengthen integration of the communities at the national level, and to bring them to the Accessible Europe next year, that we can continue the journey of the cooperation. So of course we are focusing in the ITU a lot on the development of the knowledge. I think this is one of the major conclusions of this conference, that knowledge development was underlined as the key topic. We have also in the development sector quite a lot of work around the study groups, which is in ITUD used as the platform for sharing the practices among the stakeholders. So in case you are working in field of the accessibility, also we encourage you to take 5 minutes to provide the input to this work, which is mainly focusing on the policies, solutions, and implementation. The work on the technical standards is done in the study group 16 of the TE, and so we have with us also our colleague Simão Campos, who is the counselor of this group, where the technical issues are discussed. And it's important that you're making awareness among your networks about this good work going on there, and that certain issues requiring the global standardization can be brought there directly. Of course, the training is the key. Please share this with your communities, that we are having certification program, 8 hours, 3 modules, and people can get the better understanding. So once you are launching any kind of the discussion at the national level, definitely it will help already to format the discussion, that everybody is on the same page in terms of the terminology, objectives, and the reasons why, in fact, we are doing certain things around the accessibility. And this certification program is for free. The second program, as Roxana already mentioned earlier, is around the web accessibility. This is like an entrance to the whole challenge of the making accessibility happen at the country level. Apart from the online training, we have developed also the offering to the countries to be supported by the ITU and ITU's partners in developing the capacity at the national level on the web accessibility, and in raising the political awareness of the need of implementing the web accessibility as soon as possible, to be on time, in line with the directives of the European Union. So all this brings us to the different opportunities for the cooperation. So let me name them. First is the National Policy Advisory going to the countries and building strengthening the communities at the national level in field of the ICT accessibility. The second one is the building the capacities in generic capacities in knowledge on the ICT accessibilities. And the third component is the national web accessibility program, which is offered to the countries, but which is also seeking the support of the stakeholders in making this happen. So having said that, this was just the intro. There is much more happening in the countries and also by the organizations. This is the open session, so we would like to open now the floor for any kind of the contributions or also calls for the partnering from you. It's not only up to the ITU to raise the hand and please partner. We will be very happy if you are partnering with each other. As soon as we know that something good is happening in this field, I think we are achieving the objectives and making progress on the results expected by the political leaders. But I think these dynamics we want to try to create. So let me open the floor. Somebody has to break the wave of the plenty of the request for the floor. So who would like to start? Just to reassure you, your microphones work. Okay, we tested them today. So, I'm sorry.
Maybe you can invite also Michael to comment on the curation program, or you want to go ahead with that?
Well, first let's remain around the topic of the regional initiatives and those three pillars. Maybe there are other pillars or some partnerships which you discuss even during this forum. We would be very keen to learn about this. And then after this, we would go to the curation program proposal. But let's first take a look at the possibility of seeing if you see something interesting to propose or express the interest of the collaboration or express the interest of supporting some countries in the field of the accessibility. Yes, gentlemen in the back, please present yourself. We are webcast, and so we have to also provide information to those who are remote.
Stanley De Bono from Foundation for IT Accessibility. Basically, I have two questions. I hope I stay on focus on the topic. Are there plans to create a directory of all the different initiatives where someone can have a reference point of what's being created, and so that we don't duplicate work? And what would be the mechanisms to enable collaboration between the different countries, organizations, so further maybe we can create some synergy between the different projects?
Yes, thank you very much for this question. In fact, this is the whole purpose of this exercise. So we noticed that a lot of things are happening in Europe. And people are very proud of this, what they are achieving, but it remains in the very limited circle of the communities that they know that something has been achieved or some success was done. So that's why with this simple mechanism of collecting already those achievements at the website of the Accessible Europe, this is just the first step. Our dream would be to have much more inputs, and then at the next Accessible Europe, or even in the meantime, and to have the matchmaking. Of course, this information provided to Accessible Europe, it should be the information of the use for those who are looking for the partnerships and the reference points to any kind of the area of the work they are focusing on. So there is some certain also limit of the or limitation of the ITU where how far we can go. We can facilitate, we can provide the information, share information. By the end of the day, also the stakeholders will have to take the initiative and to come or to us saying, well, we want to promote something or launch something, or we need support in launching something, or even we just want to announce something what we do, and we want to get the other partners. So we would be more than happy to provide this facility. This is something where we are quite well and doing well on this. We have quite big and large network of the policy networks, policy makers, regulators, and private sectors working in this field. But of course, this platform should be used with the stakeholders understanding that they can use this platform, and Accessible Europe should be such a platform. At least we hope to create this understanding. So in case there is something specific what you would be searching for, please don't hesitate to even tell this now, and then we are taking this from there. And does it respond to your question? Yes, thank you. So we have our colleague, yes?
Hello. Thank you for this reply, and it's very interesting. I'm from France, and I work on a project called Rogerverse. And so it's very interesting that you're able to inform other members of initiatives. It can also be the other way around, where member states indicate that they have a need and share these needs, sort of like a request for proposal, I guess. Can that work the other way around?
Well, I think that it has to go from the top and from the bottom in the same time, in parallel. So this exercise and this definition of the scope of the regional initiative on accessibility was done, I would say, by those who are working in the field of the accessibility, but with their understanding of the challenges. I think since it was designed, we did tremendous progress in developing better understanding, having the better and larger community of those who are really having hands-on approach and can provide the guidance what is needed and what doesn't make sense at all. And I will not hide that we'll be also entering soon in the process of redefinition of the priorities of the Europe, where the member states will be looking for advice or better understanding. So what is different from this what was 5 years or 4 years ago? And there, your value next year in particular will be huge, because the outcome of the next Accessible Europe, and already this one, will provide the food for thought for the policymakers how to design the priorities. But of course, this is the political design. So this is important, but for us, more important is what is happening on the ground. And of course, we can design everything politically, but then always we're coming to the issue of how to finance this. And setting up the priority is one thing, but then how to make this happen on the ground, that as the entrepreneur, as the NGO, as those who are passionately dedicated to the topic, that they do not fight for survival, but they can really exercise really quite good implementation work on the field, making the progress. So this is something what we are looking for, that once we are having this also interaction with the political layer, that we can advise them properly with their understanding that also the support has to come behind that. So I think we need to have these both layers, and so for the time being we kicked off this process with collection of the information, where for some 20 submissions is a lot. For others, it will be already something. We would dream about much more. And during this forum, many of the stakeholders came to us and saying, well, we have this great initiative. We'll be for sure informing through this process what we do, and maybe this will be useful for the others. So this is ongoing process, I would say. Yes, please present yourself.
I'm Cristina Musinelli from Fondazione Lia. I'm new to this event, so I was curious to understand how can we join to the Accessible Europe. I mean, we can send a contribution, but you also spoke about join. So,
well, you are already with us. It's not a club. It's not a golf club. Okay. So the most important for us is that joining means you are doing some concrete piece of work on the accessibility. For us, joining means that if you are coming and you are saying that you are training, having the training center, and you are training 10 people a year, already is good. Good to know, because you have the know-how, knowledge, and maybe at a certain moment we'll have the stakeholders coming and saying, we would like to train also maybe 15 people, how can we do this? And then we are not rediscover the word because we know that you do this, so maybe you can advise the others. So please use the opportunity of the questionnaire of this form just to announce what you do, in what scope, and what is your interest of being active at the regional level and sometimes at the international level, in line with the different priorities. So categorize if you are active in the web accessibility, or the policy advisory, or the innovation, or different type of the technologies. So this would be of the huge use for us.
okay, I'll do. Thank you.
Of course, for us, also the other call is, as I mentioned earlier, we are working a lot on developing the capacity, but also on the development of the standards. And those companies which very often are doing great job, the moment when their technology is developed and they are going for the market, then they are thinking, oh, so let's come back to the issue of which standards we should use and so on. So we are promoting and inviting them to already from the beginning and to at least to consider what is happening in the standardization field. We had a very nice discussion during these sessions about the need of the standardizing of this, what is standardized in different organizations as well. So I think the last forum has concluded that we have to have the strengthened collaboration on of the standardization bodies, in particular in field of the audiovisual. This year, this was also reiterated. So I think that there is quite good understanding of where we are going, and I think for us it's huge value, and that you are also monitoring and contributing with those technology developments which you are involved in to the work of the standardization stream. So just to recap, no need to subscribe to the club. Let's feel as a part of the club already.
Yes. Hello, good morning, everybody. My name is David Zanoletti from Fundación 11, and I would like to use this opportunity to present to call for a collaboration in the project that I presented yesterday in the MOOC platform, in which we are releasing a group of content, a group of courses, a very short course for 4 weeks around the time to do the courses. And the question is, we need collaboration to translate the content, because currently it's only in Spanish, and we know that the courses is a good opportunity to get the skills and knowledge about design for all, about European norms about accessibility, like the requirement of procurement process, the 301549 norm. Other courses about digital document, accessibility in digital documents, etc., etc. In this case, related with ICT technologies, accessibility in ICT is only 4 of that course, but I think it's a good material, and we would like to share with other citizens and other entities in different countries in Europe. But the limitation is we only have currently in Spanish, and we are going to translate to other language, but in general we will translate to English. But we think this kind of material is necessary to translate for Italian language, Polish, Hungarian, Finland, etc., etc. It's not only in English, but it's a hard work not only to translate the words, the documents, because that is relative is easy, but we are developing sign language content in the material, or easy reading format, the content, subtitle obviously, but it is a test. Sign language is necessary to take help of experts of different sign language experts of different language. And it's a material that is necessary to record in media format and with a specific normative. We need help to transform this content, and we offer the opportunity to use our material completely free. We share the material, and we share the platform, because the platform is open platform and is a ubiquitous system. That is the key, the translation and the collaboration to use and spread the content. And I invite to everybody want to collaborate to visit the Canal Fundación 11. It's possible to find very easy in Google. You write Canal, channel, but it's only in Spanish. Canal Fundación 11, and the platform is UNED Abierta. I think it's a famous open platform. If someone want to collaborate, we give our hand to use and to speak about this question. I have other projects, but I think it's better to speak with Sabine Lopnik about the seal certification that we are developing for mobile technology. The mobile technology, we know the GARI project. GARI project has a very large list of properties and capacities of the mobile technology, mobile terminals. These properties self-complement the manufacturers. And we are developing a system to evaluate not exactly the same characters, the same features of the mobile, but very, very similar as the list. And we are developing a methodology to transform this list to the EN 301-549 norm, and to know if the terminal meet the different users profile that the norm say, the norm collect. We are the seals collect icons, different icons, to see very easy if the mobile meet with different user profile. And I think it's a good option for the manufacturers or sellers of mobiles to present the customer and to give them information about accessibility of the mobile in base of the norm. Not only a large list of properties that is very confused and time to know, but okay, this mobile is very complete, very whole, a lot of functionalities, but I don't know if it's good for me because I don't see correctly, I don't see well, I don't here, etc., etc. And these two options of projects we are developing currently.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And we invite you also to refer to your contribution. As I understand, as I remember, there was the contribution on the website is posted. So go to the website. On the right side, you will find the one box with all contributions and look for the answer contribution. So there is concrete proposal of the collaboration on the courses and making them much more multilingual and impactful at the national level in Europe. So thank you very much for that. And then the second question would be more to the Gary platform. So I understand. So I don't know if. Yep.
Excuse me, Jaroslav. I want to remark that the MOOC platform is complete accessible. Follow the WCAG 3.1. The content too. The contents are obviously is accessible material. That I would like to remark this because it's a controversial discussion always about the e-learning platform is accessible and is not accessible. In this case, we are completely sure we guarantee the accessibility of the platform and the content too.
Great, thank you very much. And I see we have the Dusan and Saf.
Yeah, hello. My name is Dusan Saf, and I would like to tell you about the impact that this conference has already had. So after the conference in Vienna, we established a regional institute for accessibility with headquarters in Zagreb. It connects countries from Southeastern Europe, and next year we plan a conference in Croatia about accessibility in Southeastern Europe. The plan is to hold this conference as a frame within the presidency of the Republic of Croatia, but if this is not possible, then there are also other options to have this conference later in the second half of the year. And I'm very pleased that the Croatian regulator, HACOM, has accepted to be a host. So the conference is going to be organized in a partnership between the regulator and this institute. And I'm inviting you as the ITU Office for Europe to explore possibilities to cooperate in the program, and also I invite other participants of this meeting to join the conference, to attend the conference, and we will share information about the program when it is prepared, and also the dates.
Excellent, thank you very much. I think that we have to make sure that there is no overlaps on the dates and there is the flow, that the community is not challenged too much in the different engagements. But we are very much open, and thank you very much for these two statements, very concrete, straight to the point. So I think we need to take a look how to create the good flow also of the discussion, and maybe not to repeat certain discussions, but then also to complement and to bring from the one forum certain outcomes to the next level at the next forum. So the floor is open. Please feel free to raise the hand and to contribute. Yes, please.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Eduardo Jauregui from Iris Bond Company. I would like to thank you very much, the organization, on behalf of the companies, to include us into this ecosystem, because I believe that if we want to make accessible Europe and include the innovative technologies into the ecosystems, we have to all work together, policymakers, standardizations, and innovative companies or NGOs or universities as well. If we want to make the innovations accessible and be part of the society, we have to work and to support that innovations come to the market. So again, great, thank you very much for considering us part of the ecosystem, and very glad to continue working together. Thank you.
Thank you very much for this. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't see any further requests for the floor. No, we have. So please go.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I will speak. It's Andy Quested from BBC and the chairman of Working Party 6C. I would just like to encourage the delegates, especially administrations here, that the ITU has a very strict protocol, works on contributions. Without contributions, we cannot progress work, and I would just encourage people to send contributions in either for their administrators or their sector members so that we can work on this. I am personally going to put a contribution in as chairman. I'm allowed to do that, but I would encourage others to support that. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Any other questions? Not for the time being. So let's now switch to the next agenda point. This is the curation program. I will not ask how many of you opened the PDF file with the curation program. I would like to invite also Michael to join me on the stage, because this is the whole conceptualization of this, what could be done in this respect is coming also from our brainstorming with the Zero project. So the idea of the curation program is coming from the request for the boosting a little bit innovation ecosystem across Europe in field of the ICT accessibility. Of course, we launched the regional contest, but the question is, you're getting a trophy and what? Your credibility is raised, but how you use this properly, and what type of the value we are getting in terms of the real creation of the ecosystem of those who would be recognized, but also those who are sharing with the world also the good news about their work happening sometimes in the garage, sometimes in the research laboratory. So those who are making the change at the technology, they need some support. And what we thought is that instead of developing some huge project and so on, we would be able to use the community around the Accessible Europe in order to create some value proposition to the young entrepreneurs, startups and SMEs, providing different type of the services. We are carrying on constantly the discussions with different stakeholders, what could be proposed from their side. And we are happy to hear very positive feedback on this, what could be proposed from their side as the contribution and support to the SMEs and startups active in the field of the accessibility. Some of them already expressed the good feedback, and we are very thankful for them to provide us the feedback. Also, ongoing dialogue with the entrepreneurs provided us a better understanding on the existing challenges, including the funding, visibility, market access, ecosystem mapping, and training, and the knowledge. And based on this, we are trying to build something to help them to make the good progress. So we need to map first the potential of the opportunities for all innovators, including all conferences, competitions, trainings, and workshops. I think in the Accessible Europe community, which is growing, I think this is a quite good place exactly to learn and to put on the one place exactly this type of the announcements like the Dusan was making. We are doing some conference, we will be talking about some concrete items. We need to have some examples of some solutions, and so this is the type of the collaboration which we are looking for. We would like to provide the facilitation of the participation in those identified activities. We'd like to facilitate sharing of relevant national, international information and knowledge in field of the ICT accessibility. And we want to encourage to be connected with much more stakeholders, because I think that the community is big, but very often they don't have time, awareness, interest, or even sometimes means to join the place where they could really reach out to the potential markets and to be noticed. And by the last point, we would like to leverage the potential of those organizations which are doing already the work. It's simple, but sometimes it really needs to be said, that those activities which are already on the market, they can be still strengthened with this type of the activity. So we have designed so far the 3 pillars of such a curation program, with the open call for the contributions for different inputs. First is going into the direction of the good understanding of the calendar of each year, where the community moves and type of the community moves, of the researchers, of policymakers, of innovators, funders, and other stakeholders. Then what type of the competitions exist on the market, and then what type of the training and knowledge development requirements on the side of the SMEs and startups exist, and what can be provided already from the basis which exists and is provided by the stakeholders. So let me pass to our friends from the Zero project, with whom we kicked off the whole idea, and we're trying to navigate. This is the session where we would like to also hear your comments on the proposed way forward. In case you have any kind of the proposals how to improve, redirect, or strengthen, or weaken sometimes, and this is the moment to tell us, because the new year is already in 20 days, and we would like to be at least ready enough in order to go with the announcements for the key milestones for the 2020 year. So Michael, if I'm handing over to you.
Is it? Yeah. Thank you, Jaroslav. First let me say that from the Zero Project, it's an honor and a pleasure to work here together with ITU and especially you and your team. I think you can really start something great and interesting here. My second message is this is really meant, this is an early stage. We're starting this cooperation. It's our first year, and we will all together learn a lot. So please come forward if you have ideas, if you have suggestions. It's the time now to phrase and to frame this whole proposed activities also according to your needs, because it will not work if the needs of you and your stakeholder groups and your interests are not met. Then this whole process will not work. Let me put a vision first, and so that we someone can share the idea what this could mean in the future, and from our point of view, this would be something that we can achieve in the next 2 or 3 years together. Imagine you have a group of some 15, 20 innovators that have a kind of certificate. It's not a real one, but a kind of distinct role as being a leader in the field of technology in Europe. And this is that me? It's not me. It's me neither. Okay, so this time without the noise. Imagine you have this group. So far, what have we got? We got an enormous amount of outstanding numbers of innovations that exist somewhere. There are hundreds, thousands of universities, of startups that have some ideas, that have developed some technologies, that have some apps, that have some platforms, that have created a network, that have created social media activities. They're all out there, and every stakeholder working in that field does not really know what to do, whom to start with, whom to talk to. You cannot talk to everyone who is approaching you. Most of the people you want to approach, but you have never heard of. So this is a kind of amorph, intransparent market of innovators in Europe and worldwide. And imagine you have this set of some 15, 20 that have somehow gotten a distinct role in this group. They have been awarded by the ITU, they have been awarded by the Zero Project. There might be other stakeholders coming in, like the European Union and others, and everyone agrees that these are innovations to look at. So if you have this set of some 15, 20, and then you put this together with on the same screen as the proposed activities, then you see the potential of what we're talking here and the difference to if this is not happening. We could align the conference invitations, so every one of us, the ITU, the Zero Project, it's also mentioned here, Access Israel and others, are inviting innovators to their conferences. If there's a distinct set and a known group of innovators that we all agree are in the lead, it's easy then to invite them to the conference and to also to align conference activities. For example, we as the Zero Project, we will run the ITU forum during the Zero Project conference, which hopefully will bring the awardees together with other experts that the ITU bring to the Zero Project conference. Hopefully we will get the same chance at ITU conferences, that we bring innovators, other one from the group, to ITU conferences and to other conferences. So there should be a reinforcing system of knowledge, expertise, network of this group and all the stakeholders that are interested in them. Some of them are mentioned already here, but I see more. There is, of course, within the ITU, there's the standardization group. They should have an interest in a leading group of innovators. There's governments, they should have an interest in this pre-selected group. There's Andy from the BBC who just raised his interest. If he gets, and other leading media get to know this group, then it's easier also for him to select the news articles he wants to write. There's the group of international funding agencies. There's the European Union decision maker group. All of them should be interested in this group, and this is the vision that we're hopefully shaping here together. And just to reinforce this one more time, it will only work if we create something that you and all other interested stakeholders are interested in.
Great, thank you very much for this. So now the floor is open. This is the time to provide your feedback, your input, improvements, comments, and also your feelings. Among the people in the room, I see some of the entrepreneurs. So we would like to understand if this would also respond to your expectations and towards such a program, if this would be useful or some components might be strengthened. Please.
Hi. I just have two comments.
Please introduce
I'm Cristina
yourself.
Musinelli from the Elia Foundation. We work in the field of accessibility of digital publication. We were also awarded, we were nominee to the Zero Project in 2014. The two comments. One is we are a no-profit foundation, so we are not a startup, we are not a SME, but we are quite innovative also in the area of technology. We do a lot of research, and I think for us it's quite difficult to get involved in funding, because normally funding is for companies. So I am wondering if there is any option that you can involve also innovative foundation or people who can make clearly in the project research and development, and is not an SME, because we do a lot, but like us, probably other people, and I think that if you demonstrate that you are doing a good job and you demonstrate that you have result, I don't think you need to have to be for profit as a requirement. This is one request. And the second request, I think that there is a lot of discussion on, and also a lot of focus on awareness, training, prepare of document and so on. I see less impact on the result on the market. So I think this is another issue. I think that it's important to have the training and so on, but there is a need to more involvement of the industrial stakeholder. Because if you want to reach real result, you need to have the people who have to do the job in the process. We were quite successful because we started as publisher association. So we have all the publisher involved in the process. And so you can measure the result in the final the result on the market, the number of titles that are published as accessible, or the number of websites, or the number of applications. So I think this is another important thing. I saw very few people from the industry here.
Thank you very much. I think the point on the stakeholders type is very good, because our focus is also not only to focus on the SMEs and the startups, but also on the research houses, which are bringing to the pre-market level the solutions. So this what we are interested is to animate also the whole community of those who are working on the concrete solutions to be developed. So this point is very well noted. Then, yes, we have please introduce yourself at the beginning.
Yes. Same here. I've been able to have an impact in France because I was very closely involved with industry stakeholders. And it's true that there's a need for awareness and for regulation, standardization, which we still need today. But I agree with Madame's statement on having maybe another pillar, which is industry leaders, telecoms, press, media, join the training programs. Thank you.
Michael, you would like to comment, or?
Yeah, sure. So I forgot to mention the industry stakeholders. So they should also have a foremost interest in also getting access to this group. It also reduces enormously their cost in getting access to leaders in the tech innovation field. So we also would see the impact and the value that we create in forming this group for this group. And so we hope that they come in as well, of course. Mayor? Yeah. Because I would like to ask Eduardo from Aris Bond. We had a conversation before, and you mentioned also some interest or some what you would like to have as an awardee of the ITU. What you would like to have being part of this group, definitely as an awardee. Maybe you want to add your wishes or your interest.
Yes, thank you, Michael. As I mentioned before, I mean, it's really key to consider the community of the companies, I mean, startups, but not only companies, SMEs. I mean, I agree that maybe other groups as foundations or professionals as well, because at the end, technology is a part of software or hardware, but we need to utilize, or we have to send this technology in a very smart way to the market, and the professionals, the special therapists, or this kind of people are key in this process. No? So, as I mentioned, if we want to create an ecosystem and to make Europe accessible, a reality, we have to work all together. Making innovation is complicated. I believe that standardization and making policy is complicated as well. But we work together. We have to work together to make this innovation go to the market, scale, and make it accessible as soon as possible. So, of course, I believe that working together is the only way to success.
Okay, thank you very much. We have colleagues from ESQA.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ponder and Mr. Michael. I have a comment in order to share what we are doing at ESQA. I'm Nawar Alawa, Regional Advisor at United Nations ESQA, which is the Regional Commission for the Arab region. We are actually developing a platform for entrepreneurs in the Arab region called DEPAR, which means Digital Entrepreneurs Platform for the Arab region. And it will be launched in March 2020. And I think, well, the objective of this platform is to enhance knowledge change and offer better growth opportunities for startups and SMEs in the Arab region. And I think that it could be a very good opportunity for us to showcase examples from Europe through ITU and through a Zero project. So we are also opening the opportunity for collaboration to showcase examples from other regions other than the Arab region. Thank you.
This is very concrete proposal, thank you. And I see Mia at the back.
Yes, I'm Mia Ahlgren from the Swedish Disability Rights Federation. Talking about stakeholders, I am a little bit afraid if maybe I misunderstood you, but you were talking about finding the, how did you say, 15 to 20 leading innovators. I think we need to stretch out to extend our family, as I said yesterday. I think we have to reach out to those who are not involved so that we get this end-to-end chain working, because at the moment, those big industries, they're not interested. So how can we find innovative ways to engage those that are not here today? So I am thinking also about students, universities, those who are going to be the innovators of tomorrow, to get them involved. So I am thinking maybe having some kind of pre-session that is more interactive. You could have some kind of speed dating things or something. Or many years ago, actually, we arranged a Design for All masterclass at a European Commission conference where we had stakeholders listening to users or non-users, I would say, that experience issues. And together, you are doing an innovation video prototype at the time that you're there. So try to do more and not just talk about it. Some more interactive sessions, and I would be happy to explore that for the next year, maybe.
Sounds excellent, and I think this would be a very good opportunity also to propose some concrete activity at the next Accessible Europe. So let's work together on this. We'll come back to you. Thank you very much for this concrete proposal. Yes, the gentleman at the back.
Hello, so I'm Dominique Archambault. I am here on behalf of AAADE Association, but my intervention now is from my other hat. I am also a professor at University Paris 8 in Paris. If we want to have an accessible society, there is something we tend to forget. Look at the evolution of techniques. We have the WCAG 1 in '98, which solves problems of webs, static web, which is not anymore existing, more or less. We have WCAG 2 later, which has been a major progress. And since then, techniques continue to evolve, and it's always a chase between the technology and the accessibility. People from the companies or from the universities are developing new tools without having accessibility on mind, and then we continue to look at them. So I think there is one very important point will be to generalize the teaching of accessibility in computer science or in engineers courses. Like since some years now, it is the case for architects. nobody can get a degree on architecture without knowing how to make an accessible building. And I think this is something that we have to stress not only by talking to our colleagues. Personally, for instance, I run a master called Technology and Disability, and all our students are aware of that, but we have 20 students per year. So it's a drop in the ocean. But there is also something to do with the government saying that we should add in some regulation that people should not be able to have a degree in development, for instance, if without some awareness about accessibility, in order so that people who will create new technologies in the future do this with the assistive technology and the accessibility idea in mind. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I could not underline that enough. So from what we see as innovations that are selected by our network, Zero Project Network, these train the professional models, as we call them internally, are a really huge group, and currently they're focusing on web designers and architects. But I would also see the people working on city planning, people working on all kind of everything that's related to the home. So there's a lot more than it's currently out there. Currently it's architects and web, but this should also grow to other fields.
Thank you very much. And any other contributions? The floor is open. So I think that the last point is giving quite a lot of inspiration also for the agenda of the next Accessible Europe Forum. So we'll also follow up on that. But dear ladies and gentlemen, I don't see the request for the for the floor. So I think that yes, we have one.
I do have a small point to make. I think the last gentleman's point was interesting. However, understanding the actual technology on the field is important. So actually knowing the startups that work on the latest technology, interacting with them, being open to receiving them is important, as in staying in the field of academia, not knowing what a startup is, or stuff like this. So maybe it's like we come from another field where we need to work with academia, and startups need to know what has been around before them, because we're always trying to start from zero, which is a bad thing. But academia, on the other hand, also tend to not know what's emerging. So a balance of the two, and we need to work together, is important. The cooperation, like young kids that are 25 years old come up with incredible ways of approaching something new, but haven't learned from the past. And so this is something that we can do to work together on.
Okay, so point is taken. I think these emerging technologies which are coming up is a continuous struggle to catch up with them. So we'll also incorporate this in the work stream. So thank you very much. Last call for the comments. If I don't see, then ladies and gentlemen, this would bring us to the last agenda point. But before going to the last agenda point, so we wanted to thank you very much for all your inputs. I think, as I mentioned at the beginning, this is evolution. It's nothing it's set in stone for this curation program and for these activities. In case during the year you see something what you would be doing or what you would be able to contribute with any concrete value proposition to those innovators, please let us know. Okay, so we don't want to have the closed club, and this is the open-ended partnership of all stakeholders actively proposing some offerings. we don't want to over-engineer this as well, to get too many things, which by the end of the day will be about everything and nothing and without any impact, and not really of the interest of those who are really making the innovation. So thank you very much for this round of the comments on the concept. We are really appreciating for this, and we'll be trying to really propose certain communication at the beginning of the year on that. Ladies and gentlemen, this brings me to the last agenda point of this component, which is the other business. So this is the moment to raise any kind of the points, observations, proposals for the improvements of the Accessible Europe next year, anything what we should in addition think, what we didn't think this year about. So this would be the time. So let me open the floor for this. I don't see. So if there would be no, then I would like to invite the representatives of the ministry to join me, and we will be closing the Accessible Europe. So representatives of ministry or agencja. So Joe, if you yes. So maybe I will invite you first to take the floor.
Just checking if Ruth is here. I was asked to close the session, right? Am I under? Pardon? Okay. So we're closing up this conference, and I'm very pleased to have you here all for this 2.5-day conference. It was fruitful. I think everybody enjoyed our topics we tackled during these 2.5 days. I'm sure you will go back and take some good note of what we have done. And I'm sure also that you will be making contact with us during these coming days. I'm looking forward. I've taken some notes myself on initiatives which we can do as an agency, as a country. We work together with FITA and MITA on a number of initiatives, and I already have taken up some discussions with our Maltese counterparts to see how we can go overseas and discuss some business initiatives. This is going to be a closer, as I said. I wish the best of luck for Portugal, Lisbon. I put a note over there. I forgot to bring it with me in Portuguese. I'm not going to say it now because I forgot what I should have said. But buona sorte, is that correct? Por la conferencia in Lisboa. And if you would like to reply back to me, you have to reply back in Maltese. So, but, pardon? Yeah, you could. So, thank you all for coming. Please, if you're staying for another day or two, go around. I have suggested some places to my friends here from Austria and where they can go. Mdina, Valletta, it's a nice place to visit. But then, make sure that you come back for a week or two and enjoy our hospitality. Okay, we really like to have you here. Thank you very much. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the IT also, we would like to really thank to the host and to the government, to the agencia, to FITA, MITA, and other stakeholders. Thanks also to Zero Project and for contribution to the regional contest. Thanks to the individuals like Ms. Sachs for adding also to this conference. I wanted to also to thank our great teams who are working with us.
Larks Ackermans from Belgium, Mr. Eduardo Jauregui from Spain, excuse me for Eduardo, Mr. Andy, question for Andy, which is your name? Question quested from BBC, and of course my colleague Ricardo. And the good news is that we have a total of 70 people who successfully passed the knowledge development session, and from which 2 in 75%, 12 in 80%, 27 plus 90, and 29 100%. So with this good news, I just wanted to assure everybody that we don't have any single failure, and I would like to congratulate you for your involvement and for the fact that indeed it seems that everybody will get back home with some additional knowledge in this topic of ICT accessibility, and I wanted to thank you all. Thank you.
Great, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Closings are very good because we are always thanking, and so let me continue. Be patient. It was a big conference of many people, so let me also thank my colleagues. Let me thank to Elena, Damian, Marina, Roshin, but I would like to request you for a special moment of attention, because we would like to thank especially Julian McNeil, and I would like to invite you to join me on the stage. So ladies and gentlemen, just to let you know, Julian joined us 6 months ago with a lot of fresh ideas, and this what we are experiencing today and during the 3 days would never happen without his passion and without hours and sometimes nights spent in the office. I was very often notified by our security asking what is happening on this fifth floor of the ITU tower, and I had to explain, yes, this is Julian. So let me thank you very much personally. Today I think this is the baby of all of us, but Julian was with contact with all of you, and I think that you know him by heart already when he was writing to you and asking for the contributions and for many inputs, but also helping in curation of the program to make sure that Accessible Europe is not only an event, but is also the place where we are enjoying the time together to work together. That's why we wanted to recognize you with a special piece of recognition in front of all of you. No. Well, I will not let you go, because you have to tell us how was it and how it will be.
Well, this is a surprise for me, so thank you, Yaroslav, for the kind words and for the opportunity, and thank you all for being patient with me. Sometimes I've been very insistent with the emails, so some of you might hate me, some of you might love me, I don't know. But I wanted to take the occasion. For me, this last 6 months have been very, very a constant learning, and the chance to really work concretely to make Accessible Europe possible. So I wanted to really thank you very much once again for this. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much, Julian. Thank you very much, and thanks also to Roxana, who is with us, and our colleagues Simao, and rooting from the ITU who are always with us. And finally, thanks to the European Commission for always to be with us. So, ladies and gentlemen, this brings us to the final word, declaration of the Forum 2019 as a closed, and invitation to the 2020 Forum in Portugal. So thank you very much, round of the applause, and we see in virtual space and physical space during the curation program components and different conferences and the projects. Thank you very much.